All right, there we go. Good morning, everybody. Today's webinar is going to be in regards to the CMS.gov website and all the ways that you can use that to your benefit. In addition to that, it is also going to be how we use our CSG tool to do Medigap comparisons. With this tool, we have the ability to look at a few things that we'll get into here in just a few minutes. But first, I did just want to show everybody the CMS.gov website. If you go to www.cms.gov, you can access this website. And one of the nice tools on this website is their outreach and education portion. You'll see it right here on the right of the screen. If we click that, it will allow us to get to a bunch of outreach and education topics. What we're going to look at today is going to be under Learn. If you hit Get Training, it will take you to the Medicare Learning Network and the CMS National Training Program. If we click on this CMS National Training Program and click out of this box here, this gives us the CMS National Training Program. This is what we use to get all of our modules and all of our presentations that we use each year. Now, what we have to do in order to get these is we do have to have an account on this website. If you have not set up an account with the CMS website, you will need to do that. But since I've got this right here, you can look at the different things that are offered here. There's self-paced online training, training modules, webinars, workshops. Let me just pull up the training modules here first and foremost. If you click on the modules here, it will give you a list of a few different topics that you can look forward to. Of course, you can always search if you're looking for a specific topic, or you can go to Browse Topics and basically select anything you want to. Since we are talking about Medigaps, I'll go ahead and make this regarding Medigap. So if I go to Browse by Letters, I can click the M here and look down, and it just goes in alphabetical order what everything should be. When I've looked at this before, I believe Medigap is a few pages in here. So I'm just going to skip. There we go. Medigap Basics. So if I go to page 5, that's where Medigap first pops up. So if I click these Medigap Basic Benefits, then it gives me this module that I can open and download. This will open here. This is what happens when we're working from home, is maybe I don't have all the patches that it takes to open some of these presentations on my work laptop. Let me try one more time and see if I can get this to open. There it is. See, all it takes is doing it twice. And once you open these modules, you can go through this entire presentation and get all the information that you would need when it comes to any specific topic. These are the presentations that we do, in fact, use at our volunteer trainings when we go and present out in the community. So they are, straight from CMS's mouth, these presentations, and they are updated on a regular basis. This one was updated as of November 2019. So probably what you would see in here is the inclusion that that Plan C and F will no longer be sold as of 2020. And then, of course, now that it is 2020, that would just remain true at that point. Aside from those modules, if we go back to the first page that we were looking at, you can also look at webinars that were recorded by the CMS National Training Program. If you were to click on one of those, you would need to log in first. And I'm going to go ahead and just get logged in here. That is not what I need. I'm sure that they are not going to be showing any of my passwords here. And then once you, obviously if you do not have an account set up, then instead of just logging in, you would sign up for that. And then once you sign up and get logged in, then that would take you straight through to this. Once you find one of these recordings, you can click on that and it will open up another window with a YouTube video. And then if you just hit play on those videos, you can watch all of that. I believe that this one is a pretty long video. See, that's an hour and 45 minutes. But you can find these training webinars on a myriad of different topics and courses. If you go right here, you can look and browse topics again and find, any sort of webinar that you want to. In addition to that webinar, there is self-paced online training, which you would just find whatever topic you're interested in. Let's just do this one right here, Still Working and Turning 65, part A and B. If you click on that self-paced training and find the topic that you're wanting to, rather than just selecting that, see if you just selected, it takes you right back to this page. What you would need to do is click Enroll Me. And then once you have enrolled into that, then it takes you to the self-paced training page and would allow you to launch the course and go through this training at this point. And you would be able to start and look through all of these and go through the training yourself after you have completed the portions of training. God, this is, hang on one second, y'all. There we go. After you've completed this training, then you would get the ability to go through a course evaluation, a test or a quiz of some sort. And then once you complete that, you will receive a certificate of completion for that course. And, these are all the things that whenever we've got, any sort of new topic or even, if we're training someone to come in and volunteer with us or a student intern or whomever, we'll use a lot of these, evaluation courses for training to have people learn the material and prove that they've been paying attention and demonstrate their understanding of a lot of these topics. The CMS website, and especially the National Training Program website, is an invaluable tool that a lot of people can use within our program. And even if you've been with the program for a number of years, I guarantee that Anytime that you go to a training or attend something like this, you'll learn something new every time, or it will remind you of something specific that you may have not known or may have thought was some other way. It happens, at least to me, all the time. Is, you know, I go, oh, I didn't really understand that all this time, or sometimes on occasion I've had this information wrong in my brain for the last couple of years, and I need to make sure that I straighten that out now. You know, we're only human, and that does happen sometimes. So if anybody has not gotten a account set up on CMS's website, I highly recommend that you go ahead and get one set up. Again, just to show everybody one more time, when you go to CMS's website at cms.gov, you go to Outreach and Education. Right under Learn, Get Training, and then you select the CMS National Training Program. And it will take you to that page right there where you can find that self-paced online training, the training modules, the webinars, and then, of course, all of the SHIP coordinators attend the Train the Trainer workshops each year. And they are an invaluable tool for us, and one of the two trainings that we attend every single year. Now that we've gotten that information through as well, we also do use a CSG actuarial tool when it comes to running comparisons for our Medigap policies. Right now, in order for somebody to get access to this tool, you must contact Shannon Jones to get the request in to get access for this tool. Shannon will probably be turning that over to me within the next month or so. However, for the moment, for the time being, it is still an email that goes to Shannon in order to get access to that. And that's just right here, request an account, and then email Shannon to let her know that you've requested an account. Now, that is at www.insuranceToolsportal.com/TNShip/auth/sign-in. For anybody that is needing the link to get to find this site, you can absolutely reach out to your coordinator in your region to get that information and get that URL link, or you can absolutely feel free to email me at ryan.ramsey@tn.gov, and I would be happy to send you that link. But once you do get to this website, you will sign in, and hopefully I've got my password saved in here already and I won't have to retype it in. Yes, it's nice when things work out sometimes. When you get to this website, you'll see you can, if you've got multiple accounts, you can switch to other accounts. You can manage devices. You've got contact support. And then, of course, sign out. Now, with your account and your support also appearing over here on the right. Now, what we want to do is we want to run a Medigap policy quote for a beneficiary. So we're going to hit Run Quote. It does have a disclaimer about those Plan C and F Medigap policies. Right up there, I'm going to just go ahead and get rid of this. Now, when we're running a quote, we don't need to have as much information as we normally do on a comparison of drug plans or Medicare Advantage plans when it comes to the course of our work. However, we do need just a little bit of information from everybody. The first of which is zip code. We have to know what area they live in. I'm going to go ahead and just use my zip code, that being 37201. Since I'm here in Davidson County, what will happen is that it will bring up this county for a zip code that may span multiple counties. Let me see if I can remember one of them here. There we go. So you'll see 37604, that's Johnson City, Tennessee right there. And that does bring up this drop down on the county. If you are doing a comparison for somebody and it brings up that zip code being open for multiple counties, then we want to make sure and select the correct county for which we're looking. I'm going to go ahead and just use this zip code, 37604, and I'm going to say that this person is, in fact, in Washington County. Let me see here if I can mute the volume here and stop whatever that is from repeating. Hang on one second, guys. Okay, I think that might have solved it right there. Now, after we've selected the county, we want to make sure and find that person's age. This is very important because that can have, all of these things can have a bearing and an effect on what this person's quotes are going to be for those Medigap policies. We're going to go ahead and just say that this person is brand spanking new to Medicare. They're about to turn 65 next month, and they're trying to get a Medigap policy in place by April the 1st. So we're going to go ahead and say, okay, if we're looking for April the 1st, they're going to turn 65 next month, we're going to go ahead and just say, okay, they're age 65. If that person is about to become 65, it is easier to just put 65. The reason being, if nobody is aware, is that if you are below the age of 65, these Medigap policies can be 3 or 4 times their normal price. For somebody who is on Medicare due to disability, those Medigap policies are very, very expensive. So in order to get a comparison of Medigap policies that is more accurate to what that person should be paying or should be offered for them being new to Medicare, we want to go ahead and just say, okay, we're doing a policy for somebody who is aged into 65. Gender, you know, is that beneficiary female or male? We'll just go ahead and say that beneficiary is a female as well. Does this beneficiary use tobacco products? Yes or no? We're going to go ahead and say that they are not a tobacco user. And then what plan is this beneficiary interested in? Now, if anybody is unaware with those Medigap policies, there is let me go ahead and just pull up this chart very quickly here. Just one second. Use the old adage, show, don't tell. Especially since this is web-based training, it's better that I show rather than tell anyway. Okay. There we go, right here. If anybody is not aware, there is a list of different lettered Medigap policies. Again, we know that CNF are no longer sold to anybody who is not new to Medicare prior to January the 1st of this year. But there are many different lettered Medigap policies that a person can be interested in. Most of the time when you do a comparison of Medigap policies, and you ask somebody, what letter plan are you interested in? They're going to probably tell you, hey, I'm interested in C, D, F, or G. At least in my experience over the course of the last 7.5 years, that's the 4 that people generally are looking for. However, it is important that we show people all of these different options when it comes to what Medigap policy they're looking to, because obviously there's going to be more and less coverage with each one of those. And that does equate to the more coverage, typically the higher the costing that plan is, the less coverage, typically the lower the cost of that plan is. So for this person, we're going to go ahead and just say that they're interested in a Plan G Medigap policy. If you are doing any sort of counseling, people can also refer to this as a supplemental policy, and that is also very apt. If anybody says, I'm looking for a comparison of supplemental policies, it's very important that we do make sure with them, okay, you're looking for a plan that will cover 20% and offers no drug coverage whatsoever, to make sure that they are, in fact, looking for a supplemental policy. People do typically use the word supplement in regards to just anything additional to original Medicare, so we have to be very careful of that. Now, we're going to go ahead and leave all of the rest of this as is. We do want to leave that sorted by price. It's going to go from the most cost-effective down to the least cost-effective. The effective date, unless we're looking for a policy that's months and months away from when somebody starts, we want to leave that effective date as is. It's going to give us the most current readings of those supplemental policies, and we're not going to have any household discounts apply. It will show us that information on this comparison. You can put your client's name on here as well if you're doing a printout. Sometimes it's nice to put their name up top of there so they can see that, yes, this is a comparison for myself. Typically, when I'm doing a comparison for 2 spouses or 2 partners, then I do put labels on the top of those to make sure that if they take those home and they're looking at those, they can differentiate more easily whose comparison which is for. And then we're just going to hit Get Quote and wait here while the computer thinks for a minute. Now, it lays out nice and cleanly here all of these different Medigap policies from different companies right here. If anybody is not aware, these Medigap policies are standardized plans, meaning that whatever lettered plan you purchase of a Medigap policy, no company is going to offer more coverage than any other company. They all are legally required to offer the same level of coverage regardless of what company you go with. The same adage goes as it does with drug plans or Medicare Advantage plans, but especially with supplemental plans, is there's no such thing as a best plan when it comes to a supplemental policy. There is a best plan for your particular needs, and we will go through a couple of reasons how somebody can go about selecting a Medigap policy and the best way that we can assist them in terms of finding those Medigap policies and that are going to be best for them. Now, this is a lot of information as is. However, we're going to go ahead and complicate that just a little bit more as well. If you'll see here, there's a bunch of different options right here on the left side of the screen here. Now, of course, right here, you can convert that to an Excel sheet. You can convert this to a PDF. You can print out here, but you'll see Adjust View right through here. And you can do things like expand quotes, apply discounts, put these as an annual rate, market analytics, select plans, and underwriting filters. Now, I don't mess with these ever except for one of these options. I always click market analytics as well. When we do that, it adds on to each one of these plans. And again, that is market analytics there. Now you'll notice when we're going through all of these comparisons that you'll see things like, what is their premium each month? What is the company that this goes with? Is there a policy fee for any one of these plans? What letter plan it is, which they will all be whatever letter you've selected when we were first putting all of that information in, and how many years in the market there is. Right here is one topic that is overlooked in a lot of cases, rate type. Now, if anybody is unaware, Medigap policies are rated in 3 different categories: age attained, issue age, and community rated. Attained age or age attained, however you want to spin those two, they're just words. You can flip-flop them if you want to. Attained age is going to go up with each year that you get older. Every year, that plan is going to increase, and or I should say, it may not increase, it could decrease, but it is going to change based on your age. With issue age, whatever the age that your plan, the age you are when you purchase that plan, whatever the premium was at that age, your plan will remain that. It cannot change due to your age. It can change due to inflation, but will not change based on how old you are. Community rated, everyone who purchases that plan pays the same premium. That one cannot change due to age or anything like that. It can change due to inflation, but not due to any factor like age. Typically, over a lifetime, community rated is the most cost effective, followed by issue age, and age attained being the most expensive over a lifetime typically. Right here, we can see the market data and increase history for each one of those plans. And we'll see on here how cost effective these different rating types can be. So right here, we're just going to look at Farm Bureau health plans. This is the lowest costing Plan G supplemental policy currently by Farm Bureau health plans. Their premium a month for someone who's new to Medicare, age 65, is $90.05 a month. That sounds pretty good, less than $100. Now, if we do look at their increase history, you can see that they went up 5%, they went up 0%, 3.5 in 2016, and then went down last year. Right here, you'll see age increases. This is an estimate of what the increase is. It is not a definite. However, these are usually fairly accurate estimates about how much everybody's premiums will be as they get older. You can see right here at age 66, that's going to go up to $96.90. 67, that's going to go up to $101.52. 68, it's going to go up to $108.37. And then by age 69, it's going to be $115.25. So that's going to go up roughly about $15 over the course of 4 years. If we keep looking down, you'll notice that most of these plans are attained age. So that would be the plans that are going to go up on an annual basis. If we keep scrolling down, though, to roughly around the $130 range, I want to make sure, nope, there's one, a community-rated plan by AARP. This plan is the first. I'm going to make sure that I didn't skip over any of them, but no. Okay. This is the first plan that we'll find that is community-rated, meaning that everyone who's on this plan pays the same premium as everyone else. You'll notice that there's no age increase on that because, like we talked about, there is no premium increase based on anybody's age. It can change with inflation. If you look at the increase history on that, over the course of the last couple of years here, this premium has decreased by a good little bit here. Why that could be, just like any other business, insurance companies are that, they are a business. The years that they perform well, then they are able to cut their costs like premiums. If they did not have a good year, maybe they go up. Typically, when I look at these comparisons, community rated plans typically do have a decrease, or if they've got an increase, it is fairly low. But you'll see this being $103.07, and like we said, they do not go up with each year that you get older. If you look at this first one that we looked at, Farm Bureau, it's only going to take about 3 years before that person is going to age up and that plan becomes more expensive than their community rated plan. And then after those 3 years, that plan continues to get more expensive each year that they get older. So you can see how somebody could get on one of those age attained plans because they think that, okay, this is going to be the least expensive plan for me, and don't get the information that will go up each year. So that is something that we do need to keep in mind when we're counseling beneficiaries, is the fact that, yes, this may be the most or the least expensive currently, but it may not be the least expensive in the future. Again, we do not sway any beneficiary towards any company or doing any option. We just like to give them all the information, because we hear so often, I wish somebody would have told me this or told me that when I was first becoming eligible for Medicare. And we do end up being the person who breaks a lot of news to people. So it is important to just look at those things. If we were to just scroll down here, you'll see that each one of these has the same amount for attained age. The monthly amount goes up. Attained age, community rated, attained age. There should be an issue age in here somewhere as well. But you'll notice that attained age makes up about 98 or 99% of the supplemental market, with usually there's only about 1 or 2 community rated or issue age plans in any given letter of Medigap policies here. There's another community rated. That one's $316.66 a month. And you'll see that the lowest costing Plan G policy and the most expensive, the lowest costing is $90.05. The most expensive Plan G is $316.66. Now, this is because when you're first eligible for Medicare, you have a 6-month window. Some people will refer to it as your Medigap open enrollment period. I call it your 6-month guaranteed issue rights period. During this first 6 months that you're eligible for Medicare, you've got 6 months to sign up for a Medigap policy, and there's no medical underwriting. They have to offer you a plan, and they have to offer you at their lowest rate possible. After that 6-month period, you're never guaranteed to get a Medigap plan again in your life. For people who miss that 6-month window, this might be why they're looking at one of these plans that is more expensive. People ask me all the time, well, if they're all standard and this company can offer it at 90, why can this company offer it at a much higher rate? Well, that would be because for the people that miss that opportunity and are subject to medical underwriting, a plan can just say, no, we won't sell you a policy, or in the more likely case, they would say, well, we won't sell you our $90 policy, but you would qualify for a $316 policy, and someone would have to make the decision on where if they would like to purchase that or not at that point. So you can see there is a lot of different options when it comes to selecting your Medigap policies. Regardless of what letter plan you go with, again, no matter what company you go with, you will receive a standard level of care under each company. And I did want to show everybody, we talked about that age can be a big defining factor of this. And I did want to show everybody, if we just change this to being under the age of 65, that's the only option there is. It's 64 and a disabled beneficiary. You can't go any lower than that. But I did want to show everybody, just starting out, the lowest costing Plan G supplemental policy for somebody below the age of 65 would be $205.05, followed by $350.67, and that would go up to as high as $1,151.21 a month for somebody under the age of 65. So like we talked about much earlier, for somebody who is below the age of 65, it can be very expensive to try and purchase a Medigap policy. If they are new to Medicare and they are under the age of 65, when they do become 65, they will receive a new 6-month guaranteed issue rights window starting the month that they would turn 65, where they can switch those Medigap policies for no medical underwriting and be guaranteed to purchase whichever plan that they want to. People do ask me when I do comparisons of these, what are some things that I should definitely pay attention to when it comes to selecting my Medigap policy? Obviously, first and foremost, everybody's interested in the premium. So how much the premium is, what rate type it is. It does not matter. You know, I always tell people, I don't lose any sleep and I don't gain any sleep, and I don't lose any money and I don't gain any money from a decision that a beneficiary makes. It is up to the beneficiary entirely what they would like to go with. I have helped people find plans that I thought, yep, that is the perfect plan for you. You're making the right decision. And I've signed people up for plans that were 10 times more than what they should be paying, but they told me that's what I'm interested in. So that's what they got. When it comes to whether a person would like to go with an attained age, an issue age, or a community rated plan, that is entirely up to them. But I do believe that they should at least pay attention to what the rating type is, so they're aware. Is my plan going to increase on an annual basis due to my age? Is my plan going to remain relatively the same price? What letter plan do I have? I cannot tell y'all the amount of times that I've spoken to somebody and they've said, yep, I've got a supplemental policy or a Medigap policy. And I say, okay, what letter plan is it? And they go, you know, I'm not sure. And they can't find it anywhere on their card or anything like that. It's always good to know, what letter plan do I have, so we can all make sure and be able to tell that beneficiary, okay, here's what you're responsible for paying, and these are the things that you're not responsible for paying, that supplemental policy will pick up 100%. Because with original Medicare and a Medigap policy, you can go anywhere you want in the country, and as long as you see someone who accepts Medicare, Medicare will pay the 80%, and that supplement policy will pick up the 20% of the remaining things that plan covers. And then I always do tell people say, well, this plan's got a high number of years in the market, and this plan only has a couple of years in the market. I absolutely don't disagree with people that years in market is something that is a good indication of a company's success and their lasting power. I do not know that that is any sort of indication that a plan's going to be better than another one or not. However, I do not find it unreasonable that somebody could value the years in market as something that is highly sought after. Now, I want to give everybody the ability to ask questions here. Let me check the chat here. Nancy says the AARP plan works on a discounted premium. Each year the discount goes down by 3%, so there will be premium increases. Thank you, Nancy. Helen asks, are policy fees assessed annually or are they a one-time fee? My understanding, Helen, and you know, as we all know, we do not have you know, as much access into those Medigap policies as we do on prescription drug plans or Advantage plans. My understanding of that is that those fees are assessed annually. They are a one-time annual fee, but they are assessed each year when your plan is renewed. You know, I could be mistaken on that, but that is my understanding of that. I will most definitely check into that and try to get a hold of a representative with one of the plans and get more clarification on that. But that is my understanding in terms of that. Does anybody have any more questions that they'd like to put into the chat? Helen asks, would you please explain in the increase history information? Is the increase history amount included in the age increases? Helen, the increase history is what this plan, I'm going to go right here. This is what this plan has reported for what their history has been in terms of increases. The age increases column is an estimate of how much they will increase on an annual basis. This one is backed up by their actual history of what they've charged people. This is an estimate based on their history of how much that plan should increase over the course of the next few years of aging. So this is an estimate right here. However, at least in my experience, I've had no indication that these estimates were not pretty accurate. Okay. Michael Lee says, I have Farm Bureau. The $25 is an annual membership fee, but I get magazines, etc. also. So thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. It is an annual membership fee. Does anybody have any more questions that they'd like to put into the chat before I stop recording and answer any people that might have their hand raised? Give everybody a few seconds here to type anything out if they like to. Does an increase history also mean general premium increase? Yes. Peggy asked, how do you contact the plan? We do have a page that is sent from the, one second, guys. I tried to open that up to see if the numbers were there. We do have a plan from the Department of Insurance and Commerce that we do send people along with the comparisons. We do have a page that we send people along with the comparisons that has each of the plans' contact information, that being their address, their website, their phone numbers, all of that good stuff is on that we would be more than happy to share with everybody. You can find it at Tennessee.gov. If you go to search and search Medigap policies, you should be able to find all those companies' contact lists on that website as well. But I will make sure and send that list out to all of the coordinators to distribute a little bit later on as well, if anybody is interested in getting that. Let me see here. Lonnie says, I know when my dad signed up at 65, he paid the price quoted here. His plan didn't go up at 66, but it did at 67, and it was 67 price quoted. This is Adrian. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it may go up at 66. It may go up at 67. These are the age increases are estimates. There is no guarantee that they have to go up. It's just that company reserves the right to increase your premium based on your age with those age-attained plans. When a person below the age of 65 turns 65, will the insurer automatically reduce their rates? Helen, I will say that this is, they are supposed to automatically reduce that rate. Obviously, there's no guarantee that will happen. People, you know, we know as well as anybody that people fall through the cracks, and then we have to call and hound people to make sure that they correct the problem, but they are supposed to automatically reduce those rates once somebody ages into 65. I do highly recommend that anybody does contact that plan when they are getting close to 65 and speaks to them about how much their rate is going to be reduced, just to make sure that that company does not ever miss anybody, but they are supposed to. I believe if a company fails to reduce that rate when somebody does turn 65, and that goes on for a couple of months, that they should be able to receive reimbursement for those premiums that were paid, simply because that company is supposed to offer somebody who is new to Medicare within their, or age 65 and new to Medicare, they are supposed to offer that person the lowest possible rate that they can for that, so they would be able to recoup those costs. Nancy says, with an attained age policy, there could be 2 premium increases in a year. Are the head of household discounts reflected in the prices shown? No, they are not. They are not reflected in this. They just are shown right here what that discount would be in that case. Yeah, Nancy says, I generally pull the plan phone numbers from Medicare.gov and copy and paste it onto the comparison. You most certainly can do that as well. Medicare.gov usually updates their information a little bit more readily, so I think that that is an absolutely perfect way to accomplish getting people those numbers as well. Does anybody have any more questions? I'm gonna wait about 15 seconds, and if there's no chat, there's nothing in the chat, then I'm gonna stop the recording, and I'll check and see if anybody's got their hands up, and we can try to take that as well. Helen said, would you share with everyone the information you shared with me about folks under 65 being subject to medical underwriting? Yeah, we discussed that, Helen. If you're below the age of 65, then you would have a much higher premium, and you would not have the ability to have a guaranteed issue right. In the case of Tennessee, we do have a number of lettered policies that are to be sold to people under the age of 65. However, that person does not have any sort of guaranteed issue that they will be receiving any sort of low price plans. I mean, I usually tell people if they're below the age of 65, they can count on a $200 minimum when it comes to one of those plans that cover most everything. And those companies will reserve the right in a lot of cases to put somebody on a waiting period based on a specific disease or condition. So they may have to wait 6 months. Let's just say if somebody were on due to some sort of internal organ condition that they had, the plan can say, okay, well, we're going to have a 6-month waiting period on all expenditures due to that particular disease or condition, and they could delay somebody receiving that coverage for up to 6 months. And then the same thing with a Medicare Advantage. Sometimes a plan will deny coverage to people based off of their status with end-stage renal disease as well. Okay, so I'm gonna stop the recording here and check and see if anybody has got their hands up. Hang on 1 second.